Hey, how's y'all doing, everybody? Again, this is your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and welcome to a Friday edition live Black Minds News Report. I want to thank each and every one of you who should happen to be here live right now. I want to thank you, each and one of you kindly, and new subscribers as well. Seems like people have been falling off, or just the agents that come up in here whose job is to be watching to see what we trying to do, so they get mad when you say some things that, again, make them angry, especially me being the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming over here. Passerbys, you happen to pass by, this is the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Been in the business since 2012. Can you imagine that? A show that's been around from 2012, stuck at 2,930, 40, can't get past. I can get 19 views, 19, let's say, subscribers, and then come back next day, 10 of them done left. But they say we just make things up. But anyway, welcome. Go down the aisle. We always got a grand opening over here. Happen to see something to make you feel some kind of way. Remember, the motto of my show is the truth. Don't need no partner. Being a Friday night, and the fact that the country kind of divided, I guess you could say that there's people who, they may say, well, the verdict, can we say verdict? I don't think that was even a verdict. I think it was just the fact that there was a court proceeding before there was court. Decide whether somebody could even be tried. But what we seen was a no-go, no thumbs up. So, guess what? Country is divided on it. Black Americans in particular feel like this has been the same old, same old. Like some things have never changed, no matter how or what you do. And so, can you imagine that when one of us come out there and say things that seem to be out of pocket, as we would say? You would think that somebody who's cut from the cloth like you, who experienced like you, the only thing is sometimes you come out of certain environments, but you don't cut you away from the group. What it does is just the fact that you may evolve into whatever of this grand experience may create out of you, and if you are a useful tool for them, then they will offer you and you will come and be a part of them, right? Take your God-given gift and then you be a part of them. And so what happens is sometimes people equate the fact that they get some money to get a little fame, and they kind of forgot about where they came from. They done forgot about the struggle. They done forgot about the plight, because now associate, fraternize with, they don't talk about that. That makes them upset. They the ones who sign my check. So guess what I got to do? I have to be the one that has to play affable, right? I have to be affable about how I tread amongst them, because I don't want to make them angry. And you have to always ask yourself, if you always got to be a yes person for somebody, then who are you? Now, I know the truth cuts in ways that a lot of us, we don't want to actually, we don't want to encompass that. Because again, depending on what side you're on of it, and, you be like, man, I don't like the truth either. But sometimes that's just what it is, especially when people aren't being encumbered by your wrongdoing, right? And so just because certain things are set up in these institutions to set up what they would say are the pillars of the country, that where you go to get justice and rendered what law is, and then a people on its historicness of being in this country, that system in it seems to be rendered something entirely different than what is written on the walls, what's written in the statutes. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you be in compromising positions. You have a choice to make. So we have a person like a Charles Barkley, as you've seen on the thumbnail that got you to click on over here, says something that, the country, as I said, is divided. There's people who see that justice, or can't even say justice, but the decision that was made was the right decision. Not the fact that we're not going to look at all the facts. We're going to just look at what is being proposed as the truth. No one is really presenting the truth. You're not going to get to see the truth. You're just getting bits and pieces and people's opinions, but no one knows the real tangibles about what is real. So it's leaving it upon us, as even though you heard in the press conference, they say the people, entertainers, influencers, are going to try to make you think that we don't know what we presented. The person again said, even people, let's say, people of my skin may not be my kin, so they parade him in front of you like a apple in front of a horse and said, well, why would he lie? He is this particular person. Now, teach his own, right? So you may say, well, what's the blow your mind? Why did you put lynching in your title today? Well, lynching, they say, is a extrajudicial killing by a group. The group don't have to necessarily be specified, but the fact that extrajudicial killing by a group, you can fill in the blank of who the group can be. I'm talking about informal public execution. Not formal, like, people would like to say, well, those over in China, they do public, caning and stuff like that, right? But we don't do that. We are more sophisticated and better. We like saying that. But sometimes when we see a pattern of things that continues to show us who we say we not, but the things keep showing who we are, and so we say, maybe you're the culprit. Maybe it's because you're not complying. You're not, right? Maybe, everybody got an excuse for then really looking at what's really the issue here. So we're going to find a way to put it on you. So, lynching is also a mob in order to punish an alleged transgressor. This country knows a lot about that, especially with the history of we as BADOS in this country. Know about that mobbing up, knowing you defenseless. Make the laws where you can't defend yourself, right? And some of that stuff still from then still permeates to this day. And then when it falls out, then it contradicts itself. It's kind of like, well, we got a tie here. Well, what do you mean by that, Mr. Blummer? Stay tuned. I'm going to show you everything I'm talking about. Right? There's a tie here. So we're not talking about baseball where they say, first base you bunt and you go try to get to the base and ball get there in his glove and he tagging the base and you get there at the same time. Say tie goes to the runner. In this case, when we talk about life, if there's a tie, somebody just don't say charge it to the damn game. Oh shit, but the subliminal was, it's kind of your fault, but technically it's not your fault because what we said, we dropped everything with you. But yet we're still going to say on the press conference that if he wouldn't have did that, then that wouldn't have happened. So, okay. And so they say it's often conducted with a display or a public spectacle. What we heard, we didn't get to see because accordingly there was nothing to record of something that we know that was premeditated to be doing because it was supposedly sanctioned by the orders of who's supposed to go in the proper protocol so that, okay, when we do this is what this go, then you're going to do this. So then, okay, let's make sure that everything follows according. All right, make sure everybody got the camera so that when we do this, that was a soft target. We don't really need all that. But we got a battering ram. Well, we're just going to knock on the door. Okay. All right. Right? So they say it's also the fact that it's a maximum intimidation. Especially when you talk about me as a descendant of American descendant of slavery. Lynching itself became a frequent. They always try to use the South. You know what I'm saying? See, that's always that deflective tactic, right? We in the North we didn't do that stuff in the North. It was just those in the South. As if it was two different type of people. Matter of fact, even when you try to use Abraham Lincoln and say that, Lincoln said, you know what, to save the Union, right, to save the Union, I will keep the niggas as slaves. It was to save the Union. So did he really give a damn about you and I? So why am I trying to make a difference between the North and the South? But when we write the history, it's always the South were the ones. As if those in the North were not either in some kind of kinship, businessship, some kind of cahoots as ethnicity of people, race, the whole game. But that's just them down there and us up here. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Okay, fine. So they talk about also in the lynching, they talk about during the period after the Reconstruction. I've been hearing lately, maybe you've been hearing too, they keep talking about the new Reconstruction, the third Reconstruction, the third one. Damn, 3 times? Man, what happened to the first time? What happened to the second time? On the third one? Damn, we can't get right. Well, in life, we can't get right. We just can't get right. What is it that we just can't get right? Why is in this country that seems that something that seems to be natural seems to be so hard to make something that is so natural, like it can't be natural? So why never just be honest about who everybody is? It would make life a lot more easier, wouldn't it? Just make it easy. Say, it's kind of like how people talk about this presidential campaign. We got to do everything to get that guy out of there because he's as if like he is the beginning of where it all began. Like he's just a piece of the pawn of the whole board of the game. The problem is maybe it's just too open. And you're making us and people react that we don't want that. And so get this other one in here. But this one ain't no, you know what I'm saying? What's the difference? What's really the difference here, right? So talk about that Reconstruction era and the nadir of American race relations, right? So, this lynching business, right? Yeah, that nadir they call it nadir American race relations. Period in history in the United States from the end of Reconstruction in 1877 to the early 20th century. Racism in this country was worse than, any other period, not only in this nation's history, but on the continent. Let me say that again. They talk about that nadir of American race relations. The period of the history of the United States from the end of the Reconstruction from 1877 through the early 20th century, would say racism in the country was worse than any other period, not only in the nation's history, but on the continent as well. So anybody who's on the continent of the Americas, we, the children, the descendants of BADOS is what I say, because I put black person on mine, that we, when it comes to this, this history, no one knows what we know, and no one's been through what we've been through. But a lot of people say, oh man, you guys still holding on to that. Talking about the anti-black violence, the lynching, the segregation, the legal racial discrimination. Expression of white supremacy that increased during this time of Reconstruction. The country was trying to reformulate itself because it said it had cut out a bad part, like say going and got some kind of form of cancer. They want to take you in there, put you through the MRI. Okay, we got some cancer here. We're going to take you over there. We're going to cut that out and we're going to nuke you up and get that up out of here. Okay, so that's what we did supposedly. But somehow the cancer grew back. Like it got cut, but somehow it grew back. It's only because, well, according to the history says, when Lincoln got killed, the person who came in behind him reestablished every damn thing. Is that what happened? I think that's what happened. So when we don't connect these dots to the root, they say in the East, they say they don't you can go to the doctor, and if the doctor can't kill you, you can't get paid. In this country, well, I'll give you a Band-Aid and a sucker, and we're going to figure it out as we go along, but you just keep on paying. So with that kind of mentality and the way that the system operates in, you got to live with this until you figure out how to get rid of it. While we working on it, it's still eating, it's still doing the stuff, it's coming back, it's worse than before. Like I think it's in the Bible sometimes, talk about how taking out the old spirits and then clean it out, and then you, what they say, backslide back in, and then they come back in 7 times worse than they was before. So let's get to what we're talking about here, right? Because that's this lynching part, right? That's what the lynching is all about. So what I want to show you here is the fact that what Barkley has said. And we ready to do that? Let's go ahead and let's play what Barkley said right quick. Should we do that first? Yeah, we do that. Check this out. I'll be right back, y'all.
The young lady lost her life, but you know, we do have to take into account that her boyfriend did shoot at the cops and shot a cop. So like I say, even though I'm really sorry she lost her life, I don't think that we can just say we can put this in the same situation with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. I just don't believe that. Just bad the young lady lost her life, but you know, we do have to take into account that her boyfriend did shoot at the cops and shot a cop. So like I say, even though I'm really sorry she lost her life, I don't think that we can just say we can put this in the same situation with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. I just don't believe that. Just bad the young lady lost her life, but you know, we do have to take into account that her boyfriend did shoot at the cops and shot a cop. So like I say, even though I'm really sorry she lost her life, I don't think that we can just say we can put this in the same situation with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. I just don't believe that.
All right, we are back, right? So that was Charles Barkley on the conversation on the TNT show. Well, you heard what his ear. I'm pretty sure this ain't the first time you heard it. If you have, well, there you go. So Charles Barkley was expressing what he believed. He said his sorrow or sorrowness for the family and what they're going through, but didn't seem like he don't see like many of us see. He's seen it from a different perspective. Again, people like to say that Black Americans, Black people in general, have, when it comes to authority, we seem to not want to obey authority. That we somehow are different people when it comes to. But our history, we have always had to. Matter of fact, police and our history, which was the patty rollers, go hand in hand, does it not? That the evolution of what we have been trying to get and garner to get rights and all that, same thing, the evolution of the patty rollers turned into the policemen, right? But I don't know if the agenda ever changed. And so we see that Charles Barkley is talking about the Breonna Taylor situation, the killing, the lynching, some say the murder, right? And it seems like he's going with the narrative that it was the boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, who caused her to lose her life. That's really the gist of that. The gist of that is somehow Kenneth Walker was the problem that created the whole scenario. We went to Z without going through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and the whole rest of the alphabet. We started at Z. Or somewhere in between. We only say Z because that wasn't the end, but somewhere in between. We don't start from A and B. Again, going to the root. We don't go to the root. We're going to just say that because the predominance, those are the predominant of society, we would assume, we haven't have a poll, but we just see the quietness and everybody sitting back and listening. What are these niggas are talking about? No, you angry. But we won. Once again, we won. Justice was right. Law and order. So, do you feel that way that Charles Barkley just said? You feel the same way? That you believe that Kenneth Walker, what he did, caused Breonna to what ended up happening? Or are there other connecting situations that get to the cause to the effect? And so, he also believed that in the pantheons of names that are being said as in remembrance about how their life was shortened and taken, there's a list of names that those, not Black Lives Matter of the organization, but Black Lives Matter, the we who are black in this country and been fighting from the beginning of the inception of what you call the United States, trying to make you uphold to what you say that the country's about. Many people, true to their heart, believe that they can attain that. And others who look at it for what it really is, but the other side keep trying to tell us, no, it's not like that. Wait, it's not like that. It's funny how some people can play both sides of the fence. They got their side, and then they want to tell you about your side. You don't tell me about how I exist and how I move and how I walk in this country, and then the things that befall us is somehow it's my own fault. It's never nobody else's fault. The stereotypes and everything else that have been concocted and programmed and all in everybody's mind, that you already have a preconceived notion even before you even know me. Maybe you'll never know somebody like me because I'll say things to you that don't go with your status quo. Because people like that, that's not who you want to hear. You're like writing the script, the way I'm supposed to dress, the way I'm supposed to talk, the way I'm supposed to be. And when I don't fit that, you got nothing for me. So when you have our talent, you get some of our talent that comes from out of our people, and you take it and utilize it, kind of like back in the day, you used to get some clay, some silly poly, and you mold it and shape it, create it, and then says this, according to how I'm going to, okay, I'm going to bring you in. And according to if you stay like this, we're okay. If you ever go against me, you ever see anything that's out of the ordinary, out of our status quo, you're going to ruffle my feathers and they're going to have a place for you. Right? So what you see is you see people who are put in positions. It's kind of like saying, well, what they say when they're not at work and when they say it at home is two different things. But sometimes when you're so much in front of that damn TV and you're in the limelight and the fact you're going to have to capitulate. You ain't got no choice. You're going to have to become that. You're around that. And so you're saying things, but then in the same breath, you're trying to say that you're talking on behalf of the same people that you come from. You can't have both. You can't have both. Either you is or you ain't. See, maybe came from the people who make up lies. That's the gray area. People who lie play in the gray area. You ever understood that? That, again, let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. Anything in between is that, then you're just playing between yes and no. That's why they come up with the word maybe. Maybe. Yeah, somebody, Mom, maybe. What the hell does that even mean? It's like neutral. What, do I go? What is that? It's nothing definite. It's nothing definite. So, you like that. You like keeping people in the damn neutral zone. You're safe. That way I'm not accountable, and I didn't really tell you yes, I didn't tell you no, but whatever your interpretation is, that's good enough for you, right? It's good enough. And so Barkley says these things that she don't fit in the pantheons of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and all everybody else that we use to try to, again, as last night's show was, we're trying to show you something here. We're showing you, and then you cut me off last night. You probably might be in here tonight. You cut me off last night because I talked about the analogy about that vampire. You know, that vampire, the thing that you taught me, because me being descended as African and being here, being in this country long enough to the fact that that part of me is cut off, that I'm nothing more but this here. I am the Black American. When you trying to put everybody and put under the umbrella, they're all African American. No, I am that. We are that. We are the ones who built this country. We are the ones, descended, that created the life that you live, that you brag about and love this country so much. But the people who did it, well, we're just going to keep replacing you. So, those people who cut from that, that's why you see the rising of the spirit. You see that the people around this country, and it has gone outside of the country, is because there's a certain people in here. There's a special people in here that you use their abilities, talents to promote yourself and make and talk the grandiose about this. But this one particular people, well, we're going to take certain ones out of there, and the rest of you, we don't really got nothing to do with you. We just find another way to make some money off you. And so when we decide that we want to take up for our family because we see the injustice, you have people who will be like, hey, you know what? You guys, like, you're complaining. You guys can always go back after somebody done did everything that made the life for you. And even if you say, well, we went here, we had nothing to do with it, but did you not bring your ass here to leave from where the hell you was running from? Yeah, you did, right? No gratitude, no allegiance, nothing. All take, and no give. And then thinking that everything gonna be all right. Creator showing something, whether you want to take it or leave it alone, that's up to y'all. You know, you look at, it's kind of like they say, you need a diagnostic check. Your car, you got the yellow light on, the oil light on, the fuel pump going bad, the emission, you're failing the mission. Hey, this car is almost like not going to work anymore. It's getting to that point. But you know what everybody want to say? It's them that's the problem. It's them that's the problem. Okay, so you got this man sitting here, Charles Barkley, already compromised because, a lot of people think that you can talk a certain way and then sleep another way. You can't. That's compromise. Come on, man. Let's just be honest about it. That don't mean you're hating people. That's just what it is. How can you be like, it's wrong, and then I roll over the bed? How does that work? How does that even work? So he had to say, hey, you know what I'm saying? I live because, he's always kind of say he's rich. If you're rich, they know what they say. Oh, you need about 200,000 to be considered, the top class of rich or black people. That ain't no money to white folks, is it? $250,000, that ain't no money to y'all. So that means if you talking about rich, then who he all around, right? He around all them. So he got to say the things that he got to say. All right, so let you go and get down there with the rest of the jigs, Chuck. Chuck know that, don't he? But Chuck said, according to what happened, I don't believe that she's in category. Well, back in the days it'd be electric company. That might be before some of y'all time. Electric company. One of these things doing its own thing. Can you tell me which one? What does all them ones that the names that be recited all the time, what do they got in common? It's kind of like qualified immunity when they say, well, you got to have a pre-existing case that has identical to that one to be able to use it. Well, okay. Well, what is all these connecting things do? They not got the same case, but they got something in common that they all happen. And even there's some that are off duty or X Okay, there's something that's common in here. So why would Charles Barkley try to disassociate that? Why would he try to do that? What benefit did he get in saying that? What's the benefit in that, Chuck? Ain't no benefit in that, man. But we get it. We get it. We understand why you do what you do. So they had an article, right? They had this article that they put out. I want you to see that what he was saying first. And so, article says this, and I'm going to get into the show. Okay, we'll get in this. So the article came out talking about Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal draws backlash for pushing back on Breonna Taylor's outrage. Let me say that again. Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal draws backlash for pushing back on Breonna Taylor's outrage. Now, they was talking about many prominent figures in the sport world, including Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James, Dallas Cowboy quarterback Dak Prescott. It evoked their outrage against the decision to not charge Louisville police officer for killing Breonna Taylor. The Inside the NBA crew on TNT offered a different reaction on Thursday, led by Charles Barkley, which you just heard on the video that I played as I did the dissertation prior to that, right? And so it goes on and talks about why did Barkley say that not the same as George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. Now what it's saying is the fact that Barkley, he believed again to say that Taylor shouldn't be lumped in with the killings of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. That Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, firing on plain clothes. Do many of y'all know that? That the officers that came to their house that night were in plain clothes. Louisville police officers that were executing a no-knock search warrant. No knock. Right? We've been hearing that. We've been hearing that term. No knock. No knock. It was a no-knock warrant. No-knock warrant. Right? It was a no-knock warrant. When you look in here in the United States on that no-knock warrant, they said this warrant is issued by a judge. Have we found out yet what judge is the one that issued that signed for that? We haven't heard that. We're just hearing the term. We're just hearing somebody saying no-knock warrant. Who is the judge? Now this warrant that is signed by a judge allows law enforcement to enter a property without immediate prior notification of the resident. That is the purpose. I don't need to knock. I'm coming right in. Right? Think about that. Okay, understand what a no-knock warrant is. Signed by a judge. Once the judge signs it, guess what? They ain't coming to property without any notification of the resident. Okay? So no knocking, no ringing, no bell. Now, they'll say that in some cases, they say that what police will do is identify themselves just before they will forcibly enter to the property. But who knows that till after the fact, right? Who knows that? The only way for that to be known is there to be what? Something visual, something recording, right? That would be proper, right? Wouldn't that be a little proper that you would have that to make sure that we catch everything? Because let's just say when you do, boom, you come in there and then they run in and try and get to the bathroom and then they dumping all in and they get the flush down to them, because I guess that's what they say, because that's how we learned in the 70s, right? The old 70s movies, the cops knock on the door, they run in there, get the knife, cut the package, and try to dump all and try to flush it down quick before they can get in there. But that's where I guess the no-knock warrant come from, right? So, if you had it video and see them run to the bathroom, can you still use that as evidence? Wouldn't that be a good way to have evidence? He had the drugs, he got it away, but we got it on tape that he had it. We just don't know how much, but we know you had it. Could be useful, right? Could be useful, right? And other circumstances in between, right? So, okay, all right. That's just me talking, right? And so, And they always had an issue with this. Because they said, there's the high probability of an officer can get hurt in that situation. You got damn right they can get hurt. Not just them, but also the people inside that can be hurt. Because if your intel, right, those people who supposed to have gave you the play-by-play to tell you there ain't nobody in there but her. Who said that? Which one of them said that? Who was the one that said she in there by herself? You was wrong. It was wrong. Ain't gonna find out who that was, anyway. It's all done, right? And so when you look at in this country, they talk about the no-knock warrant has increased substantially over time. Now they say about 1,500. It was annually in the 1980s. Now we thought that's in the crack era. 1,500, but they said, but damn, in 2010 they said it was 45,000. 45,000 no-knock warrants served. I wonder who that was. I wonder if that had something to do with when they was going with the ICE. Is they counting up stats? When ICE probably was doing that, right? They might have been doing that. Who knows? But a lot of people critiqued and argued that the no-knock warrant was prone to lead to deadly unuse of force by police. They've been criticizing that. Hey, man, there's a possibility because, certain situations it may create death of innocent people. And then there's the conflict of it. The fact that what about the right to defend oneself, stand your ground laws, the castle doctrine? Let me say that again. So if you, again, let's look at the scenario. I'm asleep. Bing was 3 a.m. Okay, let's take his time. Because I know most of the stuff I read was 1 o'clock. He said 3 a.m. So let's say 3 a.m. in the morning. You dead sleep. Yeah, I said you dead sleep. And somebody is doing what they doing, right? Knocking on your door. Well, how about this? Since people might be speculating, well, how the hell do you know? Let's go to the horse's mouth. Let's go to the horse's mouth and let's see what he said. Now, are you ready to hear this? Because this is not from me. This is public information. This is what had been said. And it's my due diligence trying to get this for you. So be right there and be right back.
This is Sergeant Amanda Seeley of the Louisville Metro Police Department's Public Integrity Unit. Today's date is Wednesday, March 25th, 2020. The current time is 12:55 hours. We are present at 3672 Taylor Boulevard at the Public Integrity Office. This will be a recorded statement from Sergeant John Mattingly. The statement is in reference to PIU case number 20-019. Present with me are Sergeant John Mattingly, Attorney Steve Shore, and Sergeant Jason Vance of the Public Integrity Unit.
Officer-involved shootings. So we're here just to try
Sergeant, are you aware this statement is being video and audio taped?
Yes.
Does this meet with your approval?
Yes.
we take our step.
What type of uniform or clothing were you wearing at the time of this incident?
Can you kind of
You just want me to give you from the bottom up what I had on?
We know. Okay.
Had black Under Armour boots on,
I'm telling you,
gray pants,
this is like the internal affairs.
a black 3/4 zip,
so we're
Nike
just kind of
pullover,
figuring stuff out.
and I had my
you've got a pretty good perspective and
tactical vest on that said police on the front and back,
that'll be all right with you.
with the plates in it.
So, Sergeant, in your own words, the incident that occurred at 3003 Springfield Drive, apartment number 4, on the morning of Friday the 13th. Give me your words of what happened and your involvement.
All right, we were executing a search warrant for one of the other units up in CID. I think it's place-based.
So, Sergeant, in your own words, the incident that occurred at 3003 Springfield Drive, apartment number 4, on the morning of Friday the 13th. Give me your words of what happened and your involvement.
All right, we were executing a search warrant for one of the other units up in CID. I think it's place-based.
So, Sergeant, in your own words, the incident that occurred at 3003 Springfield Drive, apartment number 4, on the morning of Friday the 13th. Give me your words of what happened and your involvement.
All right, we were executing a search warrant for one of the other units up in CID. I I think it's place-based. About 45 minutes before we executed the warrant, I did a drive-by with Mike Campbell, had the eye on the house. So I did a drive-by the apartment just to get my own visual to make sure which door we were hitting.
So had you been over there
When
all
I came up to the
day?
door, there was two apartments. It was the second door over, and there was a roto-rooter van right in front of it, and that's how we identified it. And it was apartment 4 on the bottom floor on the right. So there's two doors looking directly at us, two on the side. It was the one on the inset on the right. Went back and we geared up. And when it was time to, when SWAT was doing their thing down at 2-4 in Madison, we went over, or Elliott, whatever it was. We executed ours at the same time. I was the first car in, pulled up on scene. When we got there was a vehicle that hadn't been there prior to me coming through. It was a around 2004 Toyota Sequoia.
Oh, is
It was
it?
white or cream in color. I pulled behind it and exited my vehicle. I went up and cleared that car to make sure nobody was in it since it wasn't there prior. At that time I went around the front of it, cut between the cars. We made our approach to the apartment. When we all got up in line, I knocked on the door, banged on it.
Anything you can.
We didn't announce the first couple because our intent was not to hit the door. Our intent was to give her plenty of time to come to the door because they said she was probably there alone. When we all got up in line, I knocked on the door, banged on it.
Anything you can.
We didn't announce the first couple because our intent was not to hit the door. Our intent was to give her plenty of time to come to the door because they said she was probably there alone. When we all got up in line, I knocked on the door, banged on it.
Anything you can.
We didn't announce the first couple because our intent was not to hit the door. Our intent was to give her plenty of time to come to the door because they said she was probably there alone. So we predetermined to give her plenty of time to come to the door. Banged on the door,
Stop questioning or making
no response. Banged on it again, no response. At that point, we started announcing ourselves, please come to the door. Please, we have a search warrant. While we're doing this, there was a neighbor or somebody upstairs right on the staircase that started arguing with Detective Hankerson and Lieutenant Hoover. And they were both giving him commands to go back into his apartment. And he kept saying, I wasn't really paying attention to what he was saying, something about leave that girl alone or something like that.
I'm sorry.
But while he was doing that, we were still announcing police, come to the door, police search warrant. And we banged. I probably banged on the door six or seven different time periods. Not 6 or 7 times, but 6 or 7 different times. What seems like an eternity when we were up at a doorway. It probably lasted between 45 seconds and a minute. So we predetermined to give her plenty of time to come to the door. Banged on the door,
Stop questioning or making
no response. Banged on it again, no response. At that point, we started announcing ourselves, please come to the door. Please, we have a search warrant. While we're doing this, there was a neighbor or somebody upstairs right on the staircase that started arguing with Detective Hankerson and Lieutenant Hoover. And they were both giving him commands to go back into his apartment. And he kept saying, I wasn't really paying attention to what he was saying, something about leave that girl alone or something like that.
I'm sorry.
But while he was doing that, we were still announcing police, come to the door, police search warrant. And we banged. I probably banged on the door six or seven different time periods. Not 6 or 7 times, but 6 or 7 different times. What seems like an eternity when we were up at a doorway. It probably lasted between 45 seconds and a minute.
All right, so we back, right? So that was I guess you could say the interview by the officer, Jonathan Mattingly, right? Did you kind of notice there was like 2 conversations going on at that? Did you kind of notice that? Why would they do that? Why would they have Kenneth Walker's interview intermixing with the conversation that's really supposed to be about Jonathan Mattingly. Coincidence? I mean, that's what you pay your tax dollars for this kind of shoddy work? Or is there something else going on here? But if you learn how to focus on who's talking and take out the, it's kind of like sometimes like, I guess it goes vice versa. It's like, you can have your significant other and they watching TV and you talking to them and you talking and they looking at TV and you just talking to them and they just get, They ain't even listen to you. Just, You know what I'm saying? Ain't paying no attention to you, right? So you're blocking out that and focusing on so that's what you had to kind of do. So hopefully you did it, because I actually played several parts of it. I looped it back over so that just in case you didn't get it, to go back and heard it again. So what you heard in that conversation, you heard the fact that that they said something to the fact, or he said something to the fact, because he was recollecting what had happened. Now, he's not giving this testimony the night of. He was able to do it 2 weeks after, right? He's doing it 2 weeks after the fact. But anyway, and he says that they go and they banged on the door, but they didn't do no announcement. Okay? No announcement. They're just banging on the door. Now again, Glenn Beck said 3 a.m. Ports I read said 1 a.m. All the stuff I had read also to the fact that was talking about, they watched her. It was just a TV flickering in the room and figured that she was asleep. Intel that told him, supposedly now what you hear is, or maybe you didn't hear that, but you're going to hear in the second part, you're going to specify how long he was there prior to. So I don't understand how, if he had been there as long as he's going to stay, and how y'all didn't know that Kenneth wasn't there, I don't know, but okay, that's here near there, right? But he says something that you may not have picked up on that I talked about in the second part of yesterday's, coming on after they cut me off the first time. He mentioned something that he, being the police officer, now again, he's been in there since, he's been 16, he's going almost 20 years being a police officer, right? They there, as he said, with an other unit. Now, who's this other unit he's talking about? Who's this other unit, right? He said something about ICD, talking about place-based investigation. Remember who watched show yesterday? Place-based investigation. Remember I told you I put that in? Remember somebody was talking about that in Atlanta, and then I showed you that somehow they was talking about that in this case, right? In that case, right? And so you hear him say that he's not on the door for 45 to a minute. But originally when they came there, they were just banging on the door, assuming she was just going to come to the door. Then you hear him say, 6 or 7 different times. But not really saying announcing. And he's saying announcing now because now you got to make sure you're saying this, because now they're writing this and it's being recorded. But as I said, they didn't want you to get the clear version, is because clear, like no caffeine 7-Up. So the question became, did they announce or did they not announce? Or they used the person to say, somebody came down, hey, leave her alone, And that person, and I heard somebody else show the video that they played, which I was trying to find and put in here, but I heard that the person said that person originally, who they end up getting to say later on, that the one person out of the 13 people was the only one that said that he heard, after originally say he didn't heard. And then the second time he didn't heard. But then the third time, I guess I did hear. Right? And we're going to use this as the credibility to say what you just heard him just say. They didn't say nothing. There was no announcement. None at all. None. So let's just put yourself in that situation. Y'all sleep. 1 a.m., 3 a.m. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. What the fuck is that? Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Who is it? Nobody's saying nothing. Boom, 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 boom. Huh? It's time to get the strap? Time to get the strap? He says 45 seconds. I don't know if y'all was out there 45 seconds to a minute knocking on no door. And if you're doing, that's a lot. You already got a no-knock warrant, they say. Judge already assigned it, right? Go on and do what you gotta do. What's all that about? Maybe something else going on. Right? So in this situation, going back to what I was talking about with this no-knock, the critics were saying that this no-knock warrant was prone to lead to deadly use of force by police. Death of innocent people. Then it's got the conflict of the right to self-defense. Stand your ground. Castle doctrine. All this intertwined. It's you know what I'm saying? What is this castle doctrine they talking about? This castle law, the defense of habitation law. What are they talking about? Designation of a person's abode or any legal occupied place, vehicle, or home. That a person has protection and immunities permitting one to the use of force, including the deadly force, defend oneself against an intruder, free from legal prosecution and consequences of the force use. Now they say depending on the location, the person may have a duty to retreat. But a castle doctrine lessens the duty to retreat when an individual is assaulted within one's own home. Deadly force may be either be justified from the defense against criminal homicide applicable. When the actor, reasonable fears, imminent fear of death, serious bodily harm to him, himself, or another. Castle doctrine is not a defined law, but can be invoked. So now, based on understanding that, then when Kenneth Walker did what he did, that was castle doctrine on his part, wasn't it not? Did he have the right not knowing that somebody on the outside is doing what they doing? I don't know you. I don't know that's the police. I hear what you saying. Now, what about this? Just because somebody's outside, now again, you know what you don't have? You do not have, let me show y'all something. You do not have what it looked like in her apartment. What happened to that? I had nothing to see in her apartment. We don't know what her apartment looked like from the inside. We got to see some of the stuff from the outside, right? And we can see, the bullet holes, and we see all the casing markings. I'm trying to still figure out, how was there so many casing markings on the outside? They got 20 and 30, Well, how many cases was inside? If you got that many on the outside, right? And according to the press conference, which do y'all want to hear? Because in the press conference, it was said that the only person that went in is the person you just heard in the interview. Based on when you see the door, that door little as hell. All them couldn't have got up in there. Look at that, huh? All the different angles of what the apartment looked like, right? Oh, they're going to come into play as I keep talking here, right? An overview of it, right? You said over there about, right? So, how they always fitting in there? That's somebody put that out there. I don't know if that's really what the apartment looked like. Look at it, that's over there by the sliding door. They got all them casings over there, so they shoot through. Somebody's over there shooting too. Dude, somebody got a video. Well, pretty now they were scared. You had to be scared of all that damn shooting. You must thought it was a war. All that shooting. So Charles Barkley say, because of Kenneth Walker, what he did. Castle Doctrine says he had the right to do what he had to do. He didn't know who was on the outside of his door doing what they was doing. They was asleep. But they said they knocked. But why would you knock when you didn't have to knock? Because you had a no-knock warrant. So what was the common courtesy now? What's the point of having that? Then no need to get that. And then how the point becomes, How did you get that in the first damn place? What was they looking for? What was they looking for? What was they looking for? Nobody knows. But the ironic this is the fact that they talk about place-based investigation. That is what you're going to have to do your due diligence on. You're going to have to figure that out. Because that's who he was working for that night. He's on behalf of what they were agenda, what they were doing. Right? That's what they was there for. He said it. I think even the defense attorney for the family was talking about that. Right? So, as you see some of these, pictures that I've got showing for you up here, right? Now I want you, and I'm going to bring this back, but I want you to hear what was said. Because, see, we're going to go back to what Charles Barkley said. Because, see, Charles Barkley said what he said, but did Charles Barkley know all the other stuff? Because we understand why Shaq said what he said, right? Shaq won't be a cop. Matter of fact, I think he's also been deputized in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, right? Shaq been deputized in Georgia. But Chuck said what he's saying is just like, you just put your foot all up in your own mouth, man. I mean, again, we understand why you had to say what you had to say. Most of us understand. Not that I'm condoning that. No, not at all. Not the least. I understand. That's why he's saying that. He ain't living by us. He ain't living where we live at. He live where our folks live at. As he said, when he talk about this part here, when he talk about this defunding the police, right? I'm going to get Chuck out the way. So let's go ahead and get him in there. Get that out. And then come back. We're going to get back onto this. Because this where we're going. Because see, Chuck the one said this. And everybody fired up. But it's kind of crazy that a case this magnitude, and then talk about a tie, and so now y'all saying Breonna death is just charge it to the game. So you're leaving it in our hands now to try to put the pieces together. Why would you be mad? Y'all shouldn't be mad that we're trying to put the pieces together. Is it going to change anything? Will the public outcry change anything? So that's what Chuck here said on the defund part. Check this out.
Fools on TV talking about defund the police and things like that. We need police reform and prison reform and things like that. Because you know who ain't going to defund the cops? White neighborhoods and rich neighborhoods. So that notion they keep saying that, I'm like, wait a minute, we just gonna leave, who are black people supposed to call? Ghostbusters? When we have crime in our neighborhoods, we need police reform. But like I say, white people, especially rich white people, they're always gonna have cops. So we need to stop that defund or abolish the cops crap. And we, I hear these fools on TV talking about defund the police and things like that. We need police reform and prison reform and things like that. Because you know who ain't going to defund the cops? White neighborhoods and rich neighborhoods. So that notion they keep saying that, I'm like, wait a minute, we just gonna leave, who are black people supposed to call? Ghostbusters? When we have crime in our neighborhoods, we need police reform. But like I say, white people, especially rich white people, they're always gonna have cops. So we need to stop that defund or abolish the cops crap.
All right, we back, right? So Chuck said, ain't gonna defund no cops. Because why? White neighborhoods and rich hood. Now, when they say that rich hood, that's a mixture of all kind of people in it. When they say in that rich category, that ain't really white. That's like everybody else who got some money that ain't gonna live down there where you guys live in. They not gonna live down there. So what y'all gonna do when y'all need police? Do you care? You don't live by there. What the hell do you care? Man, what the hell do you care? But see, when you care because you say something the way that you said, that you believe that, oh, there's no connection with Breonna death that goes with everybody else, and that what happened to her was her boyfriend's fault. When you shoot cops, that would be, if you was down, somebody was walking, stop pulling a gun and shooting, maybe you might get used that damn point. But when you talking about, I'm in my bed in my house sleep and somebody busting in, why everybody trying to exaggerate shooting the cops? Really? Was that what he was doing? Did y'all hear the phone calls? He was on there. Matter of fact, when you was hearing the interview, they intertwined him crying when Mattingly was talking. You could hear when he was in there and how distraught, and he was still crying about what he just endured. Huh? Hey, see? How you try to take things and take it from what we hear and try to make it fit, to make this puzzle fit. And that's the problem. Like I said in the beginning of my show, the truth don't need no partner. When you start to add stuff to make the truth fit, then you know it's a damn lie. But some people just don't seem to understand that. You think somehow you can trick and make the lie. That's the whole thing about a person. When a person, it's like you as a parent or you as the child when they know you, no matter what you say, how you try to concoct your damn lie, they know when you're lying. And that's the one thing that I think a lot of people don't like about BADOS, especially the ones that they don't tame and control. You don't like them because they can read you. They see through you. They know when you're lying. And you know they know because why? I've been around you too damn long. It's kind of like a parent with a child, right? In the way y'all talking about minority and majority, that's kind of a parent-child situation, right? So you've always had us in the children position looking to the parent. You know how it is when your parent start, for those who had that kind of parent, that lie to you. Oh, we're going to go this way. You be waiting. I'm not going to do it now. Okay, that's the first time you ever told me that. So it's still credible with me. And do it again. 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 What happened after a while now? The child, you say, come on, we'll go somewhere. The child won't move. You ain't said nothing to him. Because I know you lying to me. And so everybody gets mad because black people are saying, you're lying to me. I don't care about you putting that black face in front of me, telling me what I know is a damn lie. I know. And again, you're the one that write the script, what it is to be black, what it is when you're on the movie, how to act. This is how you're supposed to talk, right? So that construction of what you created, that's the black person you think I'm supposed to be. That's who you think I'm supposed to be. Now, there's people who will get into that costume and do it for you. Do a little dance for you. Show your hands. Come on, wave them in the air. Come on. Do the Dougie and all that shit, right? You like that shit. The motherfucker is like, man, I gotta do that. Why can't I just... You can see yourself to be who? I'm the same way. I only feel comfortable when I can control you. What kind of motherfucker is you? What kind of person is you? What kind of person is you? I have to control you to make you, little kid that got his toy. We're going to play, and we got to play by my rules, and they're not going to take my toys away from, huh? You know what happened after a while? The kid, they'll be like, I don't play with him. I don't play with him no more. She don't want to play with you anymore. They ain't crying because nobody want to play with you. Yeah. Well, so Chuck say white folks and rich folks, and that y'all will be like, who y'all gonna call Ghostbusters? Now, who we gonna call? Who we gonna rely on is ourselves. The issue is not the fact that even what rich people is, they got crime too. They call it white collar crime, right? You don't go to jail for that, right? You're doing crime, but it's not until somebody else who got a problem with you that they shuffle enough paper, and the next thing you know, we be seeing that these indictments coming down and talking about these billions of dollars have been extorted. Then we find out, oh damn, I would not have thought that a person in a suit and tie steals. I thought he was a good, upright, wholesome person. The criminal seemed like to be the guy on the damn corner with his hat turned, sagging his damn pants, wearing some kind of jewelry. That's the damn criminal. Now that's the poster of the criminal. No one sees a cat in the suit that's doing all. He ain't the criminal. It's the cat that with the hat, the coat, is, you know what I'm saying, got his pants sagging, speaking Ebonics, he listen to hip hop. Now that's the criminal. See, magic trick. You know what I'm saying? Don't watch the hand that you don't see. So that's how they got your program. Right? I got a program. Those crimes are not considered crimes, so they don't need police there. That's I don't know, kind of white collar crime, right? You don't get the police involved for that. You have to take that judge and all that other stuff, but you don't need police for that. But that ain't criminality going on over there too. There's a lot of criminality in that too. That's all fostering down to the people that's down in the area that you got the police to keep them down there too. Right? There's some things being manipulated and done there too. But guess what? No. That's just y'all problem. Because see, we're gonna put you on the news. We're gonna write you on the internet. You're the crime. You're the criminal. You're the criminal. You're the criminal. All right? You're the criminal. So maybe what they saying is, Chuck, that they decided they're going to put in their own damn hands and say we're going to police our damn self. Or why don't we just make this a race-based policing? How about race-based? You know how they say the mob would say that the only way you would be in the mob, they got to be Sicilian, and that way they know who your family is, and then they can trace back if they need to come get your ass. They know how to knock all your damn family out. So when you put the race-based cop in there that's the same as I am, and his ass got to live, or his family know who, guess what happens? Maybe we don't have that. Now again, are we against the term crime? No. You don't see us out here advocating about that's really doing crime. You ain't never gonna see black folks in there, y'all doing wrong, cause he was killing and robbing people. You ain't gonna never see us do that. But the people who we defend are the people that even you know. Some wasn't right, some wasn't copacetic about it. But then the problem, then it's on the scale is that one of your good, wholesome, the none can do no wrong may now have to be put in crime. He has to go to jail. So you can go all out to make sure that don't happen. No, that system isn't made for him. Right? Then you take that one that happened up there where that black cop thinking that white woman was trying to get his partner and shot her and killed her up. He's sitting in jail right now. And the family got what they got, about $20 million, some $25 million. Same shit don't work. And he was the police, but that didn't work for his ass, because why? It don't work for you. It don't work for you. So maybe, in order to, if you want to talk about reform, Chuck, maybe some of the reform is race-based copping or policing. Now, again, you're going to have, that don't necessarily, because somebody's like, you got black people who sell out. They have them, and they still going to do the same shit. Just like, what was that in, what movie was that? Ice Cube and Cuba Gooding. Remember? I hate your black skin. Now, you may get that motherfucker, right? You might get his ass. We know we're going to have them type, but you know. But the thing is, somebody who comes and who like you can have a better, rapport with you. There's certain ways, again, that we can talk and, so let's say, for instance, okay, you can't get a knock warrant. Knock on the door. Where? Police. Oh, shit. Come to the door. You don't run. Who is, Dak? Man, what's, I got this warrant for your ass. Shit. Yeah? What you gonna do, man? I'm gonna go kiss the wife and kids, man. I'm gonna be back in about 3 months. Okay, go do what you gotta do, cuz don't make me have to come chase your ass. Huh? You think that may not happen? That'll happen. But in one sense, I think it's kind of like somebody did y'all see the other day in the paper where that motherfucker that was killing all the damn lions, tigers, and bears and was showing them and parading them. Then his ass the other day fell down that goddamn 100-foot and killed his ass. The animal's supposed to have been taking a picture with his ass, right? All this motherfucker he been killing, right? Right? And I think that's just what it is. I think it's kind of like that mentality, like, I'm in the jungle, and I want to capture some animals. Wait for it. And his ass got it too, didn't he? But anyway, so maybe that's what it is, reform has to be. Put some black cops around black people. Now, I know that's the whole thing. So Chuck can't see that. He's not seeing that. That the reform is, maybe you can't reform certain people because if they already got a preconceived notion about who they feel and think you are, and then you put them in the environment, they're fighting themselves because the natural inclination when they see you is to get you. And yet they in your environment, and they're like, oh, shit, I can't get out. Fighting myself. This is how they dress around here. I can't just grab everybody. So to eliminate some of that stuff, right? Because, people, they start getting a little cool with you. You got the tips and all that stuff in the community. They, what I'm saying? They're going to start telling the cops, so you're going to have less crime. And then what happens when you ain't got all them arrests? Nobody doing all that fuck shit. That's what happened. I think they're going to be like, hey, wait a minute. What's going on here? You're not arresting anybody. The job is to arrest. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. The job is still to arrest. The job isn't for you just to be riding in the damn car, burning damn gas, and just looking at eating donuts and coffee all fucking day. You got to put people in the goddamn cell, whether they're doing something or not. That's what we got to fill those seats. The capacity like fucking hotel. Somebody got to make all that contracts and stuff we got in there to make. You get what I'm saying? So even with that being said, there's a lot of other intricate aspects to this system that, regardless of if you say people not breaking the law, people not breaking the speed limit, the system can't. And matter of fact, who pay more tickets? Who go to jail more? Who do more time? You ever seen this movie called Blue Collars with I think it was Richard Pryor? He told Smokey, he said, come on, Smokey, we rely on guys like you. That's the system here. Rely on you niggas. This wouldn't be nothing without it. And even the ones that we can't use, we still using them. They said a room to the tomb like the pig. They don't throw nothing away. You use every bit of part of that. So same thing here, right? So Chuck saying, hey, you don't have no cops, what y'all gonna do? We just gonna get it together. If not, we start community policing ourselves. We don't allow certain shit to be going down, doing all that other shit, and guess what happened? We keep that kind of situation out of our hands. But I don't think y'all want that. Remember those who seen the Mac? Remember that time when Goldie had a brother that was like pro-black. Right? And then he was Goldie, the pimp that was out there making his money with the women. Now he was saying, remember they had to talk. He's like, wait a minute. Here I am trying to clean the streets and you out here and telling the people in the street is your people. Right? So he started going out there, grabbing up the dudes off the streets. The dudes that was selling all the sweet and stuff. Now the two cops, Hank and whatever other motherfucker name, right? He had grabbed the one. Remember he threw him in the back of the car and he drove off and they seen him and he started shooting at the ground. He's like, if he keeps doing this, we'll be broke and we'll be on our asses. Let me say that again. If he keeps cleaning up these streets and taking our best pushers, we'll be broke and on our asses. There's some people out here who rely on the criminality out here in them streets, in these neighborhoods. There's some people out here need that. They make money off of it. A lot of people eating off of that. So, what is all talking about reforming? What you gonna reform? The police? They only taking orders, right? Yesterday showed you that the cop that was in, what was his name, Tom Gissler? When Tom Gissler said he quit the police department because he said about that, again, going back to that place-based investigation where they're going in the neighborhood that they want to regentrificate and take the people up out of there. But since they can't get them out of there and they can't raise the rent, so they just start arresting people and putting felonies on them. And you'll be surprised when you start doing that research. You're going to see all across this country they're doing that. So anyway, another Chuck said, right? Chuck said, hey, man, hey, what are you talking about, man? Y'all got to have police. Like he lived down here with us. You ain't living down here with us. Shut up with that stuff, man. So anyway, let me get back to what that article said. Now, I'm going to show you, because we're going to go back to what that police officer, we're going to talk about that interview, right? We're going to go back over. I'm going to go back over there. Now, they were saying the fact that, again, this was what Chuck words was, he didn't think that this one, meaning the Breonna Taylor situation, was like George Floyd or Ahmaud Arbery. He felt sad for Miss Breonna Taylor. He felt sad for her. Right? And then he said, the no-knock warrant is something we need to get rid of. Who is we? We didn't create that. You know, a lot of people get French when they start talking about the system. We ain't did none of that. Somebody else created this system. This was already established before we was somewhat a part of it. I guess you can say some part of it. Anyway. So, but no, that's you saying to get rid of the no knock. Maybe. Will that still change the scenarios? That was just that scenario. There's a lot of unsung stories that's been buried and no one ain't talked about because they can't get the light on it, or, you know, it's a mystery case. So he believed not lumping them together. I don't understand what he meant by that. I don't think he understood what he meant by that. And as I said, Shaq decided he wanted to co-sign with it too, but he ain't want to be a cop. I expect him to say that. You should expect him to say that too. So, they don't need to get mad, y'all. 2020 has been revealing a lot of what people, you know, did. Let's say two-sidedness of people, like two-face. You know, a lot of people got two-face. Like, you know, you can come out of certain environments and hoods and you know somebody, you know how they is when they not at work. They call them at the job and they sound like, what the hell is that I'm talking to? Keisha, that's you? You know how they work. You know what I'm saying? They got the two sides too. Damn, you sound like a whole nother damn person in the damn job. So, you know, we got to look at it like this. You heard the interview where he said that they knock. Then he said about them, you know, okay, he was there, the way he was dressed. Remember, Kim said it was dark, he couldn't see. He said, remember, he had on black boots, gray pants, a Nike pullover, hoodie, and then the plate that said police on it. But if it's dark and you come in and kick in my door and all I see is a hooded person, if I can see the silhouette, if I don't even see that, what makes you think that somebody not going to bust at you? You ain't even coming in uniform. But you know what you didn't also hear nobody say? When you got in, when he came in, right? Once he got in, and then according to what you about to hear him say, if he seen them, right? What he gonna say? He gonna tell you how much distance it was. He was to identify the genders of the people and know exactly the position and who they were and everything. Why not then say police? Let me say that again. You're about to hear this. If he says what you're about to hear, I'm giving you a pre. Because we got to remember, you got to kind of, there's two voices being spoken. You got to be focused. But I'm trying to give you a pre so you know what to be listening for. If he said he comes in, he's able to identify And he can see the two, and he can tell you the gender, and he can see the position. Then why isn't the first thing come out of his mouth? Police, this is warrant. No, because he's going to say he got shot. He got shot, right? So anyway, let you hear this. Let me be right back, right? Check this out.
Doing that, we were still announcing police come to the door, police search warrant, and we banged. I probably banged on the door six or seven different time periods. Not 6 or 7 times, but 6 or 7 different times. Which seems like an attorney went up at a doorway. It probably lasted between 45 seconds and a minute, banging on the door.
No, I understand. I'm sorry.
At that time, I look back at Lieutenant Hoover, and he says, let's go ahead and hit it. Yeah. Because at one point, probably after about the third time we banged, Mike was standing at the doorway, and he says, I can hear somebody inside. I think they're coming to the door. So we thought they were coming to the door. And then we didn't hear anything else. So we kept banging and announcing. And at that point, Lieutenant Hoover said, go ahead and hit it. So I looked at Mike and said, go ahead. So he hits the first time, and it hits right on the door handle and didn't move the door. And every time he hits, people are announcing, police search warrant, police search warrant. Second time he hits the good spot, and it almost knocks the door open. I could see the deadbolt at an angle, and I could see a crack in the door leading into the apartment. So I said, this one's going to go. So he hit the third time, and as soon as he hit the door, came open, police search warrant, police search warrant. While he was doing that, we were still announcing, police come to the door, police search warrant. And we banged. I probably banged on the door six or seven different time periods. Not 6 or 7 times, but 6 or 7 different times. Which seems like an attorney went up at a doorway. It probably lasted between 45 seconds and a minute, banging on the door.
No, I understand. I'm sorry.
At that time, I look back at Lieutenant Hoover, and he says, let's go ahead and hit it. Because at one point, probably after about the third time we banged, Mike was standing at the doorway, and he says, I can hear somebody inside. I think they're coming to the door. So we thought they were coming to the door. And then we didn't hear anything else. So we kept banging and announcing. And at that point, Lieutenant Hoover said, go ahead and hit it. So I looked at Mike and said, go ahead. So he hits the first time, and it hits right on the door handle and didn't move the door. And every time he hits, people are announcing, police search warrant, police search warrant. Second time he hits the good spot, and it almost knocks the door open. I could see the deadbolt at an angle, and I could see a crack in the door leading into the apartment. So I said, this one's going to go. So he hit the third time, and as soon as he hit the door, came open, police search warrant, police search warrant. I go around the corner. I clear the living room on the right-hand side where you can see the sliding glass door. As I turn the corner, as soon as I cleared the threshold of the front door, I could see down the hallway. My mind your mind works so quick in this situation, it's unreal. Because as soon as I cleared it, I'm face on about probably 20 feet away, right down the hallway. There's a bedroom door on the right, and there's the male and a female. The male's closest to the door, so he's to my right. And as I turn the doorway, he's in a stretched out position with his hands with a gun. And as soon as I clear, he fires. Boom. I go around the corner. I clear the living room on the right-hand side where you can see the sliding glass door. As I turn the corner, as soon as I cleared the threshold of the front door, I could see down the hallway. My mind your mind works so quick in this situation, it's unreal. Because as soon as I cleared it, I'm face on about probably 20 feet away, right down the hallway. There's a bedroom door on the right, and there's the male and a female. The male's closest to the door, so he's to my right. And as I turn the doorway, he's in a stretched out position with his hands with a gun. And as soon as I clear, he fires. Boom. And it was almost like at the shooting range where two things flip at the same time, and you got to shoot, no shoot. But I mean, they were like shoulder to shoulder. My mind's going, this ain't right. Something's off here. Because all the doors I've made entry in, I've never seen this. And so I hit this corner, and it goes boom. And as soon as the shot hit, I could feel the heat in my leg. And so I just returned fire. I got 4 rounds off, and it was like simultaneous. It's boom, 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 boom. And then I went back and went down on the side of the door, and then reached around, and I think I got 2 more off around the corner of the door. And then I could really feel the blood in my leg, so I reached out and felt it, and my hand was full of blood, and I knew it hit my femoral at that point. So I scooted back on my butt, and I yelled at them, I've been hit my femoral. And it was almost like at the shooting range where two things flip at the same time, and you got to shoot, no shoot. But I mean, they were like shoulder to shoulder. My mind's going, this ain't right. You know, something's off here. Because all the doors I've made entry in, I've never seen this. And so I hit this corner, and it goes boom. And as soon as the shot hit, I could feel the heat in my leg. And so I just returned fire. I got 4 rounds off, and it was like simultaneous. It's boom, 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 boom. And then I went back and went down on the side of the door, and then reached around, and I think I got 2 more off around the corner of the door. And then I could really feel the blood in my leg, so I reached out and felt it, and my hand was full of blood, and I knew it hit my femoral at that point. So I scooted back on my butt, and I yelled at them, I've been hit my femoral. I've been hit my femoral. And I scooted back, and I think at that time Miles slid up. I'm not sure. I think he was over my left shoulder behind me. I'm not sure where he was standing. I know Tony was behind me. Mike was to the right of the door with the ram. It was Brett, Hoover, and Campbell had come up around the corner at that point by the stairs. So I'm assuming Miles was behind me because I think he was there in front of me. I've been hit my femoral. And I scooted back, and I think at that time Miles slid up. I'm not sure. I think he was over my left shoulder behind me. I'm not sure where he was standing. I know Tony was behind me. Mike was to the right of the door with the ram. It was Brett, Hoover, and Campbell had come up around the corner at that point by the stairs. So I'm assuming Miles was behind me because I think he was there in front of me. And so I slid back on my butt to get out of the line of fire. And for a second, I had let go of my gun, and I realized what I did, so I reached out and grabbed my gun and pulled it back, and I was like, I can't stay here. So I stood up, and I hobbled out across in front of the door, and went to where the curb is, where you step off in between the cars. And I guess Mike Campbell had stumbled, and I think he stepped back when the shots fired, I'm assuming, and fell off the curb. Because when I went to go through the cars, I looked down and was like, my mind's going, why are you on the ground? You know, and I tripped over him or fell off the curb or something. So I'm assuming Miles was behind me because I think he was there in front of me. And so I slid back on my butt to get out of the line of fire. And for a second, I had let go of my gun, and I realized what I did, so I reached out and grabbed my gun and pulled it back, and I was like, I can't stay here. So I stood up, and I hobbled out across in front of the door, and went to where the curb is, where you step off in between the cars. And I guess Mike Campbell had stumbled, and I think he stepped back when the shots fired, I'm assuming, and fell off the curb. Because when I went to go through the cars, I looked down and was like, my mind's going, why are you on the ground? You know, and I tripped over him or fell off the curb or something. My mind's going, why are you on the ground? You know, and I tripped over him or fell off the curb or something. At that point, I holstered my gun and scooted to the edge of the car, and then Hoover came up and grabbed my vest from behind and pulled me. Is that as far as y'all need? That was
So I'm like, what
contact with the suspect.
So I grabbed my gun, which is legal.
No, we need the whole
thing. I do remember when I went on the ground, I don't remember any, right there in that doorway, in the breezeway, I don't really remember shots fired because I remember I was thinking this. I was putting pressure on this, and I got to get that way. But I do remember when I tripped, by the time I went out and I stepped off the curb and tripped over him, I remember as soon as I hit the ground and holstered, I could hear all of a sudden boom, 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 several shots at that point. It seemed like then. And my mind could be playing tricks on me, but I'm sure it was then when I hit the ground because I was still by myself. And then as I scooted out, Hoover grabbed me, and it seemed like I got quiet after that.
I just let off one shot.
We get to the edge, and I said, man, I've been hit before. I need a tourniquet. So Hoover said, I don't have one. He grabbed his belt and he put it on it. He squeezed it, and I remember reaching out and said, it's not tight enough. I need a tourniquet. And about that time, Tony James shows up, kind of going back and forth, and he comes with one. He ended up having on his vest.
Seeing lights and stuff.
He goes to put his gloves on, and Hoover says, fuck your gloves, grabs the tourniquet, slides it on my leg. They start tightening up. I think somebody stepped on this hip to push down. Somebody pushed on the leg. I can't really remember who it was, but I remember them squeezing it. And I said, I need a knife to cut this off, see where it's at. I said, somebody find a knife. And the knife came out somewhere, and they started cutting the pant leg off. And then I kept going, did anybody call for EMS yet? Because they were just a quarter mile down the road, if that. And I kept going, where's EMS? And so I got on my radio and tried to call, but apparently they had some kind of standoff on channel 2 or
in the
main channel
or
was
the
on.
hallway? Was everything off because you guys had gone to bed?
Just got some clicks. They didn't know what I was saying. Then I could hear Brett yell 10:30 on the radio. As they're squeezing that, I lay back. I could hear him yell 10:30. Then I hear the beat car getting there not too long after that. And I can remember Hoover saying, time to ram the gate. And so then Brett, I could hear him yelling at him on the radio to ram the gate. And then I hear the gate get rammed. Boom. EMS still hadn't gotten there, and I kept going, where's EMS? Where the fuck is EMS at? And because the pain wasn't really in the shot, it was up in the groin and in the back, and I'm thinking, man, at this point, okay, we got the tourniquet on, I'm good. Now we got to get this leg. I didn't want to lose my leg. So at some point, EMS shows up. It seemed like forever. I don't know how long it took. They finally showed up, and I remember them saying, let's get him in a car and get him up. They kept saying, do you want to go in a car to University? Well, I knew EMS was so close and they had stuff we didn't. So I was like, no, let's just wait for them. They've got to be here in a second. And so finally they show up. They say, throw him in my car. Miles said, throw him in my car. Well, I remember walking toward the car and said, I'm not getting in that back seat because I knew my leg. I couldn't get down and back up. And so they said, well, put him in the trunk. I remember hearing that. And the trunk was popped. And Hoover was like, no. And he went to shut the trunk, and there was some gun case hanging out. So they shoved it in, put me on the trunk, or shoved the trunk, started to pick me up, and Hoover has my legs, and the guy in the back didn't lift my back up right, and I almost went to the ground. And then he puts me, Hoover says, get underneath his arms. So they put me on the trunk. I'm holding on to it as we're driving toward the gate, and I saw the EMS guy walking toward me. And I'd made contact. I was going, why are you on the ground? And I tripped over him or fell off the curb or something. At that point, I holstered my gun and scooted to the edge of the car, and then Hoover came up and grabbed my vest from behind and pulled me. Is that as far as y'all need?
No
that was
So I'm like, what
contact with the suspect?
I grabbed my gun, which is
no, we need the whole thing. I do remember when I went on the ground. I don't remember any right there in that doorway in the breezeway. I don't really remember shots fired because I remember I was thinking this. I was putting pressure on this, and I got to get that way. But I do remember when I tripped. By the time I went out and I stepped off the curb and tripped over him, I remember as soon as I hit the ground and holstered, I could hear all of a sudden boom, 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 several shots at that point. It seemed like then. And my mind could be playing tricks on me, but I'm sure it was then when I hit the ground because I was still by myself. And then as I scooted out, Hoover grabbed me, and it seemed like I got quiet after that.
I just let off one shot.
We get to the edge, and I said, man, I've been hit before. I need a tourniquet. So Hoover said, I don't have one. He grabbed his belt and he put it on it. He squeezed it, and I remember reaching out and said, it's not tight enough. I need a tourniquet. And about that time, Tony James shows up, kind of going back and forth, and he comes with one. He ended up having on his vest. He goes to put his gloves on, and Hoover says, fuck your gloves, grabs the tourniquet, slides it on my leg. They start tightening up. I think somebody stepped on this hip to push down. Somebody pushed on the leg. I can't really remember who it was, but I remember them squeezing it. And I said, I need a knife to cut this off, see where it's at. I said, somebody find a knife. And the knife came out somewhere and they started cutting the pant leg off. And then I kept going, did anybody call for EMS yet? Because they were just a quarter mile down the road, if that. And I kept going, where's EMS? And so I got on my radio and tried to call, but apparently they had some kind of standoff on channel 2 or
in the living
the main
room
channel
or
was
the
on.
hallway? Was everything off because you guys had gone to
Everything
bed?
just got some clicks. They didn't know what I was saying. Then I could hear Brett yell 10:30 on the radio.
We was just watching us.
And
More than we were watching.
as they're squeezing that, I lay back. I could hear him yell 10:30. Then I hear the beat car getting there not too long after that. And I can remember Hoover saying, time to ram the gate.
Knock at the door.
And so then Brett, I could hear him yelling at him on the radio to ram the gate.
Probably couldn't.
And then I hear the gate get rammed.
We
Boom.
were screaming the same. I know whoever would be on the other side of the door could.
EMS still hadn't gotten there, and I kept going, where's EMS? You know, where the fuck is EMS at? And I'm because the pain wasn't really in the shot, it was up in the groin and in the back, and I'm thinking, man, at this point, okay, we got the tourniquet on, I'm good. Now we got to get this leg. You know, I didn't want to lose my leg. So at some point, EMS shows up. It seemed like forever. I don't know how long it took. They finally showed up, and I remember them saying, let's get him in a car and get him up. They kept saying, do you want to go in a car to university? Well, I knew EMS was so close and they had stuff we didn't. So I was like, no, let's just wait for them. They've got to be here in a second.
What kind
And
of
so
gun do you have?
It's just a 9mm.
finally they show up. They say, throw him in my car. Miles said, throw him in my car. Well, I remember walking toward the car and said, I'm not getting in that back seat because I knew my leg, I couldn't get down and back up. And so they said, well, put him in the trunk. I remember hearing that, and the trunk was popped. And Hoover's like, no. And he went to shut the trunk, and there was some gun case hanging out. So they shoved it in, put me on the trunk, or shoved the trunk, start to pick me up, and Hoover has my legs, and the guy in the back didn't lift my back up right, and I almost went to the ground. And then he puts me, Hoover says, get underneath his arms. So they put me on the trunk. I'm holding on to it as we're driving toward the gate, and I saw the EMS guy walking toward me. And I'd made contact.
All right. I'm not going to apologize for that. That's just what it is, right? That you were able to discern that. And if not, I will go by the play-by-play with it. But can you imagine when they talk about transparency? And when they release something that why you have to be commingling two different conversations if what you did was lawful? Then that tells me again that you have to be distorting this because something that you know that you're saying may not be what you're trying to portray. Now, what you heard there, if you could get through the monotonous part, again, remember I told you, whether you're female or male, whoever your significant is, you're watching TV and they're talking. That's what you had to do. You got to train yourself to focus on the game or focus on soap or whatever it is you might be watching while the other person talking to you. You know they talking, but you ain't focusing on it. That's what you had to do to really get to the crux of what was being said. And so what you heard Jonathan Mattingly say is the fact that he said, okay, going back from the beginning, they came there. Matter of fact, he said he got there 45 minutes before they were going to do anything. 45 minutes he had been there. They seen a white Sequoia that had came there. And before they went in, they checked to make sure because it wasn't there before, and somehow it got there. Checked, make sure nobody was in there, and then they went to the door. Got to the door, they banging on the door. No announcement, banging. For the simple fact they're saying, well, we were going to give her time to come to the door. No announcement. Oh, you admit then you didn't announce. But then you say 6 or 7 times later, 45 seconds, a minute later, but all of a sudden everybody in unison said, police search warrant, police search warrant. Right? Okay. So, time goes by, neighbor says, here's all this banging, as a neighbor should be. Hey, what's going on? Go back in the house. Originally, they talking about, they said Brett, he told Brett to calm down. Brett had his gun to him. He's like, calm down, Brett. Hey, be easy, man. That's not who we need to focus on. We got to focus on here. Okay? Gets him calmed down and get him back in the apartment. Now, he said 6 or 7 more times, they sitting there, they banging on the door. But now, in an interview, he want to say, we're saying this, but we don't know, because accordingly, until today, a video came out. There was a video that came out today. Somebody decided to put this video out there because they're trying to say, people are trying to say that, Jonathan Madley is a killer or whatever the hell they're saying. So they want to kind of exonerate him. But we heard, and again, I could play. I'm pretty sure you're probably a little tired of it, but we're going to put it out there. But the fact is, the conference said that there was no video. Now, today, a video came out. So anyway, we'll get to that. So banging. Somebody said they thought they heard somebody coming. So they pausing, but they still banging. Come on, Mike, hit it. Hit it was, they got they're going to breach the door. Boom. He said, it don't do nothing the first time. Boom. You see the handle kind of denting a little bit. Boom. See a crack in the door. Boom. Okay. They said, right? They doing that. Right? Now, the hard part for many people is kind of like the same thing for the Trayvon Martin situation. Again, I did a video that they finally let go to release it after years because they kept suppressing it because of one little part in it. And finally, after years, you let it go. But I was the one, I'm not saying I'm the only person, but I did a 3-minute mystery to the Trayvon Martin mystery. Remember they were sitting in the courtroom talking about he could have ran away for 3 minutes? Well, the reason why he couldn't have ran for 3 minutes is because Zimmerman was following him the whole damn time. He was talking on the damn telephone. Remember when he said he seen him coming through the little way there, and he seen him? He trailed him the whole time while he was on the phone. Then when he pulled into the, what they called it, the clubhouse, and Trayvon seen him and took off and ran, he jumped out the vehicle and chased Trayvon. And then the officer said, are you following him? We don't need you to do that. He gets back into the car. Gets back in the car, drive back over there by the Lowers house, and then gets out and go to the T section. He got out the car twice. That's why he didn't get away for 3 minutes, because Trayvon was running, because who the hell is that? Remember when Rachel Jenkins said, some creepy cracker? And everybody, creepy cracker. Well, guess what? Same thing here. You're taking away the fact that Trayvon Martin don't have the position to be defending himself, because I don't know who the hell this motherfucker in the car is. He's saying, you look strange. But don't it look strange to Trayvon Martin that some motherfucker in the goddamn car trailing me? Oh no, you black, you don't get that. You don't get that. So the same thing here. Boom, boom, boom. We sleep. Get the gun. Who is it? Might say, boom, boom. What you gonna do? What would anybody do? But because you get to say, we the police, after the fact, but when it was happening, no one knows if that's true or not. 12 people said, we heard nothing. One person, after 3 tries, I think I heard something. Okay. So he says he gets in. Now, this is the part. Now, see, when I was talking about the Trayvon, the what I did in my video is I gave you the visual so that you can see. Because remember, they would never show you they never showed you the area. They only showed you the T section. They never showed you where he started from and where he trailed. He didn't show you when he went into none of that. I'm the only person that I know that in the black corner of YouTube, that's black media, who did that. And they said, no one will see that. No one's going to see that. So they found some way to suppress it. No one's going to see it. Throw me in the corner just like, again, I've been in business for 2012. It's 2020. I can't get even 100 views. Take it or leave it alone. It's up to you. So you can't discern in your mind is because you don't have a visual. You know what I'm saying? You hear people telling you stuff, but you don't know what it looked like. So you have to take what's given. You're going to have to take it for what little bit you can get. Huh? You're only going to get the little bit. They ain't going to show what department, they ain't getting none of that. So you got to take what you can see. And what you see, according to what they did display, you see a lot of those green shell casing markings outside the door. You see a lot of them out the door. Now that's the door right there. He opened the door. See, the door can only go so far to the right and it hits the wall. So you got 7 men with you say, right? Why those outside there? Why so many shell cases on the outside? Why so many? The press conference says, the AG said, the Attorney General said he was the only one that went in. Nobody else went in. He was the only one that went in. Then you heard him give the play-by-play when he got in. He's seen to the right, which was, he said, would be the sliding glass doors. Turn and veers to the left. He could see down the hallway. He could identify male, female. They standing shoulder to shoulder because he said, it messed him up because when he's on the range and when they do those shooting targets, he never had it with him side by side like this, and it kind of threw him off. Kind of like how they would do that. They would do the criminal that had a little girl with the lollipop, and you're not supposed to shoot the girl with the lollipop. You're supposed to shoot the criminal, and then sometimes somebody shoot, you shot the little girl with the candy. So somehow he's thrown off by seeing two of them. But Kenneth Walker said it was dark. I couldn't see nobody. I couldn't see nobody. But I know the door broke. I shot now, he said he shot at the ground. How did he shoot? As I said the other day. Kenneth Walker y'all need to go ahead and train him to be a cop. As scared as he was, and you heard the phone call mama, everything, still at the police stations. But he was cold enough to shoot a cop who could see him first and pop him in the leg. Now, you heard him say, okay, he gets shot, right? He let off boom, 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 boom. He let off 4. Then he talking about when he get around the door again, he let off 2 more. He's hit, blood coming out that he can feel dripping everywhere. Well, look at these pictures when you see outside there. Ain't no blood. Even when you see that door, you don't see no blood. No blood. Okay, so he got shot. But who shot him? They said, okay, that you hear him say, he gets shot, he scoops himself out of there. Now look at that door. Look at that door. He scoops himself out of there. Now where the rest of these cats at? Oh, this one is on my right, this one's on my left. Were they outside the door or they inside the apartment? Let me say that again. You heard him say, man on my right, man on my left. But he scooting out because he was the only one. He got hit. Then he had to catch himself because he was saying, I got up and I ran. I hobbled. I hobbled. And then he says, they not shooting. Catch that. There no one shooting, yet Kenneth shoots. He shoots the 4, but ain't none of them shooting. He scoots himself out over to where he said, alleged that he said one of the men was laying on the damn ground that he tripped over. Let me say that again. He said he got shot, let off 2 more rounds, scoot itself to get itself, as he said, get out the line of fire and get out, scoot itself out, run, hobble myself to the corner, and I tripped over a man that was laying on there. Why is this man, what is he talking about, Mr. Blow Your Mind? What are you talking about? Let's see what he might be talking about. Is there a video? Is there, no, not a video. Is there an image for that? Okay, here's the overlay, right? That's what the overhead part of the apartment look like, right? Y'all can look at that for a second, right? Look at that for a second. Then you got this here, right? Okay? Now, do you see them little steps right there? Is that what he talking about? He talking about that little steps there? Because let's see, the other part will be what? No, not that one, not that one. Not that one. The other one. Yeah, that one, that's the one. That one. Okay, you got it. Okay? So that's the parkway that he said he got in between here. He got in between there, right? And then that's what he's talking about. And then I'll go through that too. So he must have tripped on somebody here. The little steps right there. So somebody was already laying on the ground when he said ain't nobody shooting though. He says he falls, trips on him. Then when he falls on his holster, then he started hearing them shooting. You heard it with your own ear. If you could see it, if you could really hear it, you heard. That's what he said. He fell on somebody who was standing over here, fell, tripped on them. Like, what the hell was he doing there? Fell himself from there and went from there and then got himself over in this area. Right? That's what he said. Then today came out. Whoa. Then they came today with this. Then they came with this. Where we at? Check this out. We're going to do this. All right, do this then.
I'm gonna grab his legs. Put him in the trunk. Put him in the trunk. Put him in the trunk. Put him on the trunk. Here, just lift him. Grab under his arm. 1, 2, 3. Cover him. Let's go. Cover me. I'm with him. Stay down, John. Stay down. Mike, get out of the way. Stay down, John. Go. You can go a little faster. Go a little faster. Go. That's good speed right there. Open these windows. Put him in the car. Here, I'm gonna grab his legs. Put him in the trunk. Put him in the trunk. Put him on the trunk. Here, just lift him. Grab under his arm. 1, 2, 3. Cover him. Let's go. Cover me. I'm with him. Stay down, John. Stay down. Mike, get out of the way. Stay down, John. Go. You can go a little faster. Go a little faster. Go. That's good speed right there. Open these windows.
All right, we back, right? Oh shit, a video came out today. I thought there was no video. I thought there wasn't any video. Ain't that something, y'all? A video popped out today showing that Jonathan Magley was shot You see him, what he said, but some of the stuff that he said, I didn't see in that 44-second clip, which was saying that they put a tourniquet on him and put a belt, and he said, oh no, it ain't tight enough. Get the tourniquet, put that in, get the knife and cut my pants, and then they took me and trying to put me in the trunk. He almost dropped me, and then did you see all that? Did y'all see all that? I didn't see all that. Did you see that? That's my recollection. And then they would start doing the shooting. The last shooting was already done. But they were still talking about cover me. Wait a minute. You got a man who shot one bullet, and they still out there talking about cover me. One shot? So who's doing? Wait a minute. Go back. Wait a minute. If Kenneth Walker did one shot, then who's doing all this shooting? Who's doing all this shooting if he only shot one time? You understand? If he only shot once, and they just went into straight Armageddon mode, and then it said that Kenneth ran back into the room, hid in the room. That's when he heard a telephone call, called his mama. He took the gun and threw the gun under the bed. Now, some people say, oh, well, he knew it was the police. Yeah, probably by now, because then Breonna gunned up. If you go back and listen good in that conversation, that the interview, he said one of them ran up the stairs. Well, I remember he was in the door. He was down getting shot. One of them ran up the stairs. He said the name. Go listen. He said one of their names. So, Barkley, y'all saying what y'all saying, but there's certain things that's out here. If you look, you may not say that, but again, you on TV, and I bet you better say that, because otherwise they can cut that check, or you don't get no more check, right? But to say she not part of this, why not? You taking the assumption that Kenneth Walker was the one that initiated this. You know, they was talking about, matter of fact, how about this? Let me do this too. Because there was a question here. How did you get there in the first place? Man, okay, so you want to say Kenneth Walker, but how did they get there to get what they doing in the first damn place, right? Well, the sister from, I think it was Dorsey, I think her name is Chief Dorsey. She said something on CNN. Check this out. I'll be right back.
Well, it seems to me as if this Attorney General cherry-picked information that he wanted to present to the jurors. We know that there were several residents who said they didn't hear the officers announce, but he chose to present the one who said they did. And when you understand that this AG is a Trump ally and purportedly engaged to the granddaughter of Moscow Mitch, it all makes sense. I find it offensive and appalling.
On the facts that were presented, Chief Ramsey, and again, this is what we've been told by the Attorney General of Kentucky. We haven't necessarily seen the documentation ourselves here. The Attorney General said that Kenneth Walker shot first and hit the officer Mattingly, Jonathan Mattingly, in the leg, and therefore the officers were justified in returning fire. How much does that explain to you? How sufficient is that for an explanation?
Well, first of all, let me start by saying this is a tough one. This isn't as clear-cut as some of the other cases that we have discussed. Listening to the Attorney General and based strictly on what he presented in his press conference yesterday, I understand why the two officers were not charged. If things happen the way it is being purported, the officers were fired upon. They were justified in returning fire. Now, that doesn't lessen the tragedy of Breonna Taylor's death at all. And certainly the third officer who blindly fired into the apartment should have been charged criminally. But the fact that one officer who was not only fired upon, was actually struck by gunfire, returned fire, I just don't see where a criminal charge would be presented there. As tragic as this whole thing, I think one issue, though, that didn't get attention from the Attorney General is why they were there in the first place, the warrant itself. Now, the officers that executed the warrant were not the ones that applied for the warrant. But what was it that made anyone believe that either proceeds or instruments of a crime were present in her apartment? I mean, what was that based on? And that's information that needs to be made public.
Sergeant Dorsey, the system is horribly, tragically broken in that case because Kenneth Taylor, Kenneth Walker, Breonna's boyfriend, is not the bad guy here. He thought somebody violent was breaking into their home. He says repeatedly they didn't identify themselves. He's legally allowed to have self-defense and to fire his gun. He owned it legally. So if he's justified in firing that shot, which he is legally, and the police are justified in firing back, the system's broken in that case.
Well, listen, I don't necessarily believe that the officers were justified in firing. They say that they announced and that they entered and he fired first. We know that they arrested him or at least transported him and held him for several days after the shooting. And so I think if what they're saying is true, Kenneth Walker would be facing attempted murder charges against a police officer, those who entered a residence serving a legitimate search warrant and making an announcement that they're the police coming in, and that didn't happen. And so everything that we've heard put forth by this police department has been intellectually dishonest from start to finish. An officer fires 16 rounds without reassessing a threat, just willy-nilly shooting, and none of the bullets hit Kenneth Walker, 6 hit Breonna Taylor. It's hard to believe, and I think that this was designed to do what it did. Prosecutors can indict a ham sandwich, and in this case, they chose not to indict, and that's why there was scant information or very limited information given to a grand jury.
All right, so we back, right? So she said cherry picking. They didn't present out the whole case. Just like we can see the whole case wasn't presented and told, but people are going to recite what they feel is more politically correct because some people don't want to make other people feel upset because they got tired of too much black. It's all talking about everything is black, black, black. Oh, you guys are mistreated. Oh, this and that. Oh, you keep saying the police. So, is it true? Is there some connections here that might undermine this? Well, right. Man, that's who they gave the case to, right? Right, him, right? But let me show you something that you heard Cheryl Dorsey say. You heard her say something about how she felt it was appalling and that it's absurd, and the fact that this individual who you see here is somehow connected in a way, right? Connected. And did you know that he had just got married, right? He had just got married, right? As this case was being done, he got married. And that's who he got married to. That person there is the granddaughter of, she said, what she called him? She called him, she said, what she called him? Something Mitch. What she called him? Something Mitch. But it's Mitch McConnell's granddaughter. That's who he married to. Mitch McConnell was a Kentucky senator, right? He's his protege. Coincidence? 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 Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. We get it. Kenneth Walker had to be the fall guy because shit, there was too much police slop. It was a lot of sloppy work being done there. But there's other, things that's part of that. Right? There's something else going on there too. Right? There's something else going on in there. And that's why they say historic payout of $12 million. That's why it was historic. They was trying to make up for a lot of incompetency and a lot of things were just not done according to the way that you say the policies and protocols supposed to work. It just wasn't there. And then for everybody to be upset and mad that we have to now try to pick up the pieces to try to at least let our people know that what you feeling and what you're not wrong. But they're not going to admit it. And the thing is Breonna Taylor's the one that gets no justice out of this. She gets no justice. And you got people who saying things. I think it would be probably just better that he didn't say nothing. Chuck, you don't have to say something. But I guess if the crowd and the people you fraternize and work with, I guess you got to show somehow that I'm different from them. You guys are special. So you better say the right things. Okay, you said it. And then there's people who are running with it and say, yeah, see, they said it. It's true. Not when you put A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. When you start putting it all together, some things just not matching. But because we said it, it matches. But the point is, like, a lot of things that just seem, like I said, again, we sat and tried to listen to the interview, but the interview seemed to be kind of, discombobulated with with another conversation. Why? Why can't we just hear it in its entirety? Okay, if you say you got a, no knock warrant, then you just went in and just did what you had to do. You didn't have to do all this sympathy for knock. Ain't no need for that. You did it anyway, maybe because there was none. But if you listen carefully again back to that interview, you heard him say that this is what he said. He said on the board it said no knock. He said, but we didn't actually have a signature for the no knock. Let me say that again. If you go back and listen to that interview, he says that on the board or wherever he was as to this, other unit that he was working with that night, on their board, they say no knock. But the actual warrant was never signed. But yet they still keep saying it was a no knock warrant. And people will keep regurgitating it because, again, people want us to be wrong. You want us to be wrong so that you don't feel guilty. What kind of, you know what I'm saying? Think about it. What kind of motherfucker is that anyway? You would rather, you could live with the lie of fact that, and just make people seem like something wrong with them when you know what the, wow, man. I know one thing. When it's your time, when you got the, whether you believe in the creator or not, so each and every one, everybody got their own cross and bear. Well, you look at this life, you just think, well, it was the Prometheus from a drip on a rock that turned to that song, Jeremiah was a bull. Well, that, right, to a trilobite that got on fish, that got legs, that walk on land, that somehow turn. If you believe in all that, that's how life began. Keep believing in that. Because when it's your turn, you better hope that everything that's ever been said, because you got to remember, black people are the original man and woman on this planet. Black people got something in them about they believe that something else is that created all this. Now you take it, Lynn, take it what y'all want and how you want to fix the square peg and put it in the wrong ass hole and to make that thing make it fit even though it don't fit. That's the life you want to live. That's fine. But when you, like I said the other day, and it was not to say anything to be like I'm mocking. What I'm saying is, if you could take what's her name? What was the judge that this passed? If I could put on this mic for 60 seconds, not shit, 5 seconds, what would she say? What would she tell y'all? If she could say 5 seconds to get 5 seconds off, what would she say? Wrong! We're wrong! But you don't want to hear that. You're going to keep on going with it because you going to stay until the wheels fall off. Well, everybody. Look at history. Ain't nobody from history still here. So regardless on what you hide behind, what you try to do to people could attend to, but you got your time too. Just like Breonna had her time. Was it premature or was it within the design that everything that's coming to a plan? Because, this is, the scales are unbalanced. It's so one lopsided to the fact that how long can it keep tipping that way? And you don't want to do anything to try to balance it. Huh? Teach his own, man. Everybody gotta look at life the way for how you think you see it and how you believe. You seeing people out here doing what they doing because they want justice. You say you created the game, you said these are the rules, and then when you try to apply the rules seem how they don't really apply. I didn't mean that when it comes to me. I only mean it when it comes to you. Okay. The thing is, it's like, say, for instance, and I'm going to get up out of here because the shit is already going 2.5 hours. I didn't even do that long. But anyway, 2 hours. Let's say all that do, you got it now. Okay, you got the way that you want it. But the truth's still here. The truth of what happened is still existing. So let's say we got rid of the problem. Okay, we came with this. This was our determination. Kenneth, we're not going to charge you. Please, they did it because you fired. So Breonna dead. But Breonna don't get nothing what you call in your system of justice. Wherever Breonna is at is where you got to come. Each and every individual part. You got to go where she at already. Your system ain't going to help you. Marriage and this person here, and maybe y'all don't believe that shit. Maybe that's just philosophy. We made it up. What you did was made up. But in the core essence of who we are, we know what's real. I think we know what's real. But I don't think, like I said, was it Shelley Winters, one of the movies I've seen, the Baker Boys, or whatever it was. She called God a black bastard. Oh, you black bastard! You killed my son, you black bastard! So in y'all mind, God is black. So guess if we live now. I think what was that? Was it CK? That comedian? He said, right now we're having our fun. Right now, one day when they're gonna get them number one, they're gonna fuck us. They're gonna keep fucking. But for now, wee. That's right. For now, wee. Keep on doing what y'all doing. The creator done gave y'all time to try to clean this shit up. You just won't steadfast in it. Still holding on to some stuff and you can't see everything that's happening. Y'all can't see everything that's fruitioning before your eyes, or you feel like you are the architect to everything, and maybe you are doing something. But see, the greatest chess player that created everything is the greatest. You're not gonna beat him. You're not gonna beat it. So you can't do it right. Well, I guess we better hold on, y'all. It's gonna be a bumpy ass ride. it's going to be a bumpy ass ride. Because it can't be nothing left but just the spirit of truth left. Because everything else around us is just seen to be one lie after another lie after another lie after another lie. So if the house is going to be divided between truth and false, is truth going to prevail? Is the question you got to ask yourself. Now, that's going to be my show for tonight, man. Friday edition. It was a little long-winded. But we got there. And it is what it is. Because everybody says it's over with. The stuff that my man going to court for is about reckless shooting that could have hurt some people in a residence. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing else. Right? Ain't got nothing else to do with nothing else. Nothing to do with Breonna. There's nothing with Breonna. That's just dead, undone. We're done with that. You gotta carry that shit on your soul. Y'all don't believe in that shit. Well, anyway, I thank each and every one of you who was out here listening. And this is the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. You know, there's a reason for that. But, can we get one more break in there? Just in case somebody's sitting on their hand and want to do it. Anyway, you could do this and we'll be right back. Yeah, I want to thank each and every one of you for clicking on the video. Thank you. Subscribe, share, do all that other stuff. Go in the comments, say, hey, Mr. Bloom, I think you're full of shit. Whatever it is you want to do, that's fine with me. Got another channel called Black Minds TV, trying to get that to 1,000. You know, I'll be asking money. That I don't do all that. I just do what I do because, again, sometimes some things just need to be said. And I'm willing to say it. So it is what it is. So then I am the most hated show on the black corner of YouTube. Until my next show, y'all. Matter of fact, I ain't even look and see if anybody was even out here. I might be talking to my damn self the whole damn time if I sit like I haven't. Okay, there's been about 88 in the house, 6 in the house. Okay. And 88 in the house. Okay. Some people came in and listened and said, this nigga crazy. But you take it for how you want it. Appreciate it when y'all sitting up in here. Again, we try to come on again sometime between 8 and 9 o'clock. So we're looking for this next show. And to the next show, y'all, don't make it like it's an enemy, man. Like I said, you got to have a friend that sometimes got to tell you the truth. Otherwise, you just keep doing a lot of bullshit and you just keep doing shit. And then you're like, nobody will tell you to do right. Now, again, you can be stuck in your own way, whether it's about race or it's about class, it's about education. You can do all that. That's fine. But, people trying to survive. People suffering out here. You got systems in place and that people lack thereof, maybe because they didn't have the aptitude or abilities or whatever, but they're getting, squeezed out. They say it's always like the jungle, strongest of the fittest of the strongest, where the hell how it go, right? Yeah, but still, you still got to be your brother's keeper. And in this case, somebody decides that we ain't family. Well, guess what happens then? Only time gonna tell y'all. On to the next show, y'all. To the next show, y'all. You know what I say over here, right? And so to the next show, y'all. To the next show.